Secret Service Sam, the podcast. It's Secret Service Sam, the podcast. It's not so secret because you're here. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, guys, what's going on? This is Secret Service Sam. I'm on location as promised at Cassie Ventura's old apartment. Let me be specific. Old apartment
Wow.
where Brianna Bangladen was allegedly dangled by the diddler from this location. Now, I have a good friend of mine who I met on the Diddy trial. Trent Out Loud is here with me. Let me just pull up. Let me make sure we got our lower thirds here, guys. It is a tiny bit loud here on the block. The block is hot, as I apologize. Trent, how are you doing, man? Good to see you. What's been going on with you?
What's up, Secret Service Sam? An honor to be on second time. I love what
That's
you're
right.
doing. These locations, you're putting into work. Maximum respect, my friend. Maximum respect.
Thank you. No, are you in Canada back home now?
I am in Canada. I am recording from Montreal in my studio. Yes, I definitely miss everybody in the US, and I hope to be back soon before the sentencing.
Yes. Are you going to be back for the October 3rd sentencing? Sentencing is
Oh,
your plan?
guaranteed for sure. I'm gonna come in like maybe like 2 days before, do some
Okay.
lives. Hopefully, we could meet up with all of our the new media that they like to call us
Exactly.
before. And yeah, I feel it's going to be like a nice little reunion, for everybody,
Yeah.
and definitely to bring some closure. And if he gets out, if he gets let out, oh my gosh, the party is going to be a problem,
I mean, they're going to go crazy. And I think that's something interesting to point out because
Mhm.
everybody's like, when it happened, so loud here, they're like, oh my God, they're celebrating Diddy. And I think people didn't understand. No, we were
Yeah,
just celebrating, like you
exactly.
said, kind of a closing of a chapter of our reporting.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was glad I really enjoyed you, meeting you and all the other influencers. I think, what I was a little disappointed in, it seemed like there was a little bit of a implosion amongst, a lot of us after the trial. And so I think it's, important that we all kind of try to keep some bit of camaraderie because we're stronger together than we are apart.
Really
You know
agree.
what I mean? And there's all the legacy media, even though they have their different channels, they still, kind of
Yeah,
keep together. So I think it's important. And I appreciate you because, you're definitely one of the people that I've kept in touch with. It's
definitely.
like camp, you think, oh,
Yeah.
we made such good friends. We're going to always be friends, but you never know who you still
Yeah.
kind of get to keep in touch with. But I am here live. Everybody,
Yep.
let me just go. I'll go to my full shot. We are here at Cassie Ventura's apartment now. Some people, when I announce this, they're like, Sam, oh my God, you're going inside her. No, I'm not inside her apartment. This is, and I'll show you, the 17th floor, which I don't know. Maybe let me see if I can count up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know, guys. It's way up there.
It's right there,
Okay.
almost right where the trees are at ish.
What'd you say?
I said almost like where the trees are at ish, where it starts. I think that's around the 17th floor.
Yeah. I mean, that's intense.
Yeah, it's
So
pretty high
now
up.
here's something interesting. I was inside the courtroom that day. Let me just put us back on here together. I was in the courtroom. Hold on. That day, and it was just, at first I'm just sitting there imagining. I mean, do you know how terrifying that is? Like that is so high up there.
Yeah.
The 17th floor. Now, I had Charlucci on my podcast a little bit ago, and he's, one of Diddy's good friends. And he had said something interesting about this situation that try holding 2 jugs of water, he said, like this. Because
Yeah.
Charlucci is basically saying it wasn't possible for Diddy, and he wasn't tall enough or strong enough to be able to dangle somebody over one of these balconies. Now, I have no clue, but it was interesting, because inside in her testimony, it was just, and I'll read a little bit I have from that day, where she says, um, he lifted her up underneath her armpits, held her up over the rail. Her feet were over the rail. He was yelling at her, so she was trying to answer him. He says, "You know what the F you did." And she said, "I don't know what the F I did." And she said she was held over this balcony so to give you an idea of how long, she said Diddy had enough time to say, "You know what the F you did. You know what the F you did." It's long enough to be
Yeah.
held over that. Um, she says he then threw her on the balcony furniture. It definitely hurt, but she got up. Um, Cassie came out of the bedroom, allegedly. Cassie was in disbelief, is what she said. Her girlfriend, who before she went out on the patio with Diddy, she told her girlfriend to stay in her room, don't come out, because she knew basically how dangerous the diddler could be. Um,
Yeah.
she said, yeah, Cassie was in disbelief. Her girlfriend was in the house. I want to, she said she was shaking a lot. And after this, she had a huge bruise, back and neck pain. We saw a picture inside the courtroom of a bruise. It was a big circular bruise about the size of a softball. I wrote down, it looks like a deep red, basketball, but it was like the size of a softball. The chiropractor, she went to see him, had asked who did this. She didn't. She said she was freaked out. She said, "I just paid and left. I did not want to tell the doctor who did it." She was
Mm.
scared. Her ex-girlfriend took these pictures. Um, it's kind of crazy because in part of this, and her lawyer was Tyrone Blackburn. Are you familiar with him?
Yes. Yes,
So,
definitely.
and then throughout this, what was hard is on the cross examination. I remember Brianna telling this testimony. You're like, oh my God, he did this. He hung her over this balcony. But then in cross examination, she tells a story about how Diddy had squeezed her mini mountain so hard that it caused bruises. But that turned out to be a lie. And so she was
Facts.
asked, why did she keep that in the case? And my question was too, why did the government not see that and say, look, we can't leave this in if it's not true? That's going to cause a real problem on cross examination. But what do you
Yeah.
think, Trent?
So I think that this was the prosecution's first big mistake. I
Uh huh.
think they started out really good with Cassie, really strong. And this was the first kind of hiccup. That hiccup that you just mentioned. Also, they also got the dates mixed up. Remember, they said it was supposed to be like September the 23rd. Cassie was supposed to be there, but then Cassie was in New York. So I think this this testimony and this day was pivotal, and that is when the prosecution started to take, I wouldn't say a nosedive, but this is when they started to take a little bit of a right turn off of their path after Cassie, and they never really got back on track after this. So I think this was a pivotal part in the case, actually.
Yeah, it really was. Um, and also, one thing, just to what you were saying, I believe the date was September 26th, and it
Yeah.
was a picture she took from her cell phone of the bruise. And what they were
Yeah.
trying to say is Diddy was at a concert in New York on
Exactly.
that day, the 26th. So I remember Miss Westmoreland, and like you said, this was a very pivotal point in the case because she says,
Yep.
how is it possible for him to be two places at once? And
Yes.
something that somebody brought up, which is interesting, is he had a private jet. But something interesting also is like, but jets have flight logs. You can't just take off on your jet without having to
Exactly.
let air traffic control know. So it was very damning when when she said on the stand that yes, the other assault that she had lied about was not true. I just remember feeling like the jury was very confused. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And let's uh, let's not get hung up on if he did it or not, because
Sure.
this is court, right? And the burden of proof is on the prosecution, and they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. And they should have aligned their story properly, got the pictures, got the dates. I think most people believe the story, but when you have dates mixed up and when you have bruising mixed up and when you have phone calls and text messages and the prosecution is not detailing it perfectly, you're
Yep.
going to cause some sort of doubt, and that is the responsibility of the prosecution. Now, it was also strategic for Diddy's team to ask for a speedy trial. And this is where they got the prosecution caught up. Because it was a speedy trial, because they didn't have time to properly prepare, they knew mistakes like this were going to happen. And it was just fortunate for Diddy's side. This mistake happened on their second witness, a powerful witness right after Cassie. And like I said earlier, to me, this was the start of the downhill momentum,
Yeah.
unfortunately for the prosecution, and was resulted in them losing Rico.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, because it was something I remember when she came in. You were like, "Man, this is gonna be crazy." I mean, he dangled her over a
Yes.
balcony, like we were all. And to your point, this is where the prosecution really dropped the ball, because I remember in my head when she admitted to lying, about the story about the bruises, and then when asked, not the first time she kept it in, but when she fired Tyrone Blackburn, and then with the government, it was still in there. And so to
Yes.
me, that was the government's lack of due diligence of like, because when I heard that, I was just like, come on, they're smarter than this. How
Exactly.
do they not say, look, we cannot have any lies or anything, because that was what discredited a lot of her testimony. And it was kind of similar with Don Richard, where Don Richard, is this whole, when she had been interviewed 5 days in a row and she said she was kidnapped, but then they said, well, you went home every night, and so
Yeah.
and maybe look, Maureen Comey has since been fired. We
Yeah.
don't know if this relates at all to the Epstein files. But what do you think about any of that, like relating to the Epstein files and Maureen Comey being fired? Do you think she was fired because she lost this big trial, or do you think there's something more to it?
I think unequivocally, without a shadow of doubt, that Maureen Comey was fired because of the huge mess up with the Diddy case. Like, you cannot tell me any other reason. She
Yeah,
has been a stellar prosecutor her whole entire career.
yeah,
Um, straight A's. And even during the trial, I said a bunch of times on my lives, and as you know, I reported as I see it. When the prosecution had a great day, I applauded them. And when Diddy's
right.
team had a great day, I applauded them as well. And there was amazing times where Maureen, there was a lot of days where Maureen had a lot of amazing moments. I think her highlight moment was
Yeah,
getting in the text messages of KK without having to get KK on the stand. And we know if she got KK on the stand, she would have to grant her immunity. So who knows if KK is ever going to be charged, but we got to get text messages from KK without her putting on the stand. Having said all of that, as much as amazing work that she did before this case and the amazing work she did during the case, she was the one who decided to charge Diddy with RICO, and she was the one who decided to try to charge him with sex trafficking under force, fraud, and coercion.
right.
And it wasn't a hung jury, it wasn't a mistrial, it wasn't anything like that. It was unanimously 12 jurors voting not guilty. You
Yeah,
cannot spend that much time, that much taxpayers' money, and have that big of a charge on that big of a celebrity and drop
yeah,
the ball and not get fired.
yeah.
It wasn't a question if she was going to get fired. It was a question of when. Diddy
When?
is a huge celebrity. You cannot bring those charges and get a not guilty verdict unanimously.
Right.
Horrible, horrible, horrible mistake. Maureen Comey's
Yeah,
part.
and here's something interesting. I'm just kind of noticing. I'm gonna pan up on the building, because it's when you look at these balconies. It honestly looks, it makes you kind of wonder. I mean, you can see this here. You know, it's not
Yeah.
kind of the balcony I was picturing. Now, I'm like I said, I'm pretty positive this is the building. This is the address that was given inside the courtroom. But if
Okay.
you look at that, you know, the balconies, it'd be, I don't know. Like, I mean, first of all, too, like I believe her that it happened, but it does make you wonder how somebody Diddy is not like the size of Suge Knight. He's not the size of like Shaquille O'Neal to lift somebody up over one of these you know, balconies. It's not, I mean, you know, you can almost see, I can take us a little closer to one of these balconies. Um, and I don't know. I mean, and then there was furniture on there too. I mean, but I just can't imagine how terrifying that would be. I mean, the 17th floor has got to be pretty much the top floor of this building.
Yeah.
I
Look,
mean, I'm surprised she even
opinion,
testified, you know?
my personal opinion, I'm not there, you're there, but
Uh
my
huh.
personal opinion, even after seeing, is that something along the lines happened. That's just what I think. I think something was there. Did he dangle her by her feet? Did he dangle by her neck? Something. I
Right.
personally, just my opinion, I don't believe that it was a complete made up story. I think there was something there. But like I said earlier, court is not what you know, it's what you can prove. And if
What
you
she can
cannot
prove.
prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt, don't bring it in. But Maureen Comey was so desperate to bring Diddy down, she did sloppy work and she
Yeah.
made some mistakes. Simple as
Yeah,
that.
and that's what I agree with you too, because I don't see how Brianna would come forward in a federal trial with something completely made up. I just don't believe that. I agree with you that something had to have happened here, or else she
Yeah.
would not have come forward. It's too much to lie to in a federal trial. Um,
Yeah.
and here's some. So she was saying, uh, what I'm just looking at this real quick. Um, she went into trouble, testifies government forcing testimony, oxy pills. She got out of the ketamine. I think this is somebody else. I'm just trying to, I have written down when Diddy said, I'm the devil and I can unalive you. And I think that, and I want to say this might have been from Brianna's testimony, and they said, why continue to see him? And she said, honestly, I don't know. She said the balcony story on the early morning of September 2016 on the balcony of Cassie's apartment. Puff sits forward. Cassie's in her bedroom. She said she was sleeping on the couch. Diddy came in banging on the door. She woke up. She was stressed out. I woke up. She said to her ex-girlfriend, be quiet. She closed the door, went out to the balcony, and acted casual and drank wine, lit up a blunt, and she was about to light it close to the edge of the balcony. It's a white balcony overlooking, you know, the street, which we can see. And so it's just crazy. Like
Yeah.
she was just about to light one up, thinking everything was
Yeah.
cool. And then next thing you know, she's like over the balcony,
Exactly.
allegedly, you know?
Yeah, and then she tries to also come like, well, back then I was on I don't know what thing we're on, if we could say DRUG, but I'll just say DRUGs.
Sure.
I don't want to suppress your video.
Yeah,
But
it's okay.
and just like she just wasn't a reliable witness, if you
Right.
ask me. I'm sorry for all the things that happened to her and where she was at that time or whatever, but I just don't think that she was a reliable and credible enough witness. And I think the prosecution would have had a stronger case without her. I don't think her story needed to happen. I think there was a lot more other testimonies than to know that Diddy came in looking for Cassie and he dangled somebody over we didn't need that for forced fraud or coercion or for RICO. I just think it should have
Yeah.
been left out.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's almost like if you're writing a book or something, we edit out this chapter if it doesn't really
Exactly.
for the story. And she said, um, uh, she talked to him about it. She was mumbling through her testimony. She said she didn't want any problems. No police report because she was scared. January 7th, 2000, January 7th, this is interesting, 2019. She said, I tattooed that date on my neck because it was the day I left Diddy, which I thought that was very strange that to get her out of this relationship, supposedly on the stand, she said she tattooed January 7th, 2019 to remind her that
Wow.
that was it. She tattooed on her neck because that was the day I left. It was a New Year's Eve party, penthouse suite, Miami, one hotel. Her, Cassie, and Puff, 8 hours of ketamine. They said Special K. Um, you know, and it said I have since the balcony night incident. Puff talking to Garagos. Oh, I said Puff is talking to Garagos as she's telling the story in court. She said she's paranoid now. She has nightmares. She hired a lawyer for the civil suit against Diddy. She dropped that suit. And so, I find that interesting. And that was part of her, I think the jury being like, wait, what? You got dangled over this balcony a week ago, but you're having a 8 hour Special K on some heavy stuff. It just didn't make a
Yeah.
lot. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
um, she said they're not friends anymore. She had taken the lawsuit off, but refiled the lawsuit on the balcony incident. I wrote they kept sidebarring. The judge looked upset at this point. She said in the civil suit she's going for $10 million. She said I would give that back the money if I could take away the balcony incident. So it goes to show,
Yeah.
something obviously happened here. I don't know, for $10 million. I don't know. I don't know. That's a lot to, you know what I mean. But so it's just interesting. And then this is when Miss Westmoreland started going in on her. She said, "You have immunity for your testimony. Who gets to decide if you're lying?" She said, which I thought was an interesting point. Um,
Yeah.
and I said she ramps up her tone. Miss Westmore was like tough as nails. Like she was just going
Love
in,
her. Love her. She was amazing.
and she would go, "I can't hear you," because she would kind of mumble. And Miss Westmoreland said, "I can't hear you. Can you speak up?" Like she was going in on her. She said she was at Cassie's pool doing a photo shoot. She told Cassie to just wear a t-shirt. She spent the night at her apartment. She would regularly do that, spend time together shopping, getting nails done, going to a party. The photo shoot in the pool, she was hitting the dubs, feels good, sometimes tired, sometimes hungry. She did some of the boog shug together. She said that, they asked her, what do these different substances do? She said, the boog shug gives you confidence. She said, Special K opens up your mind. Ecstasy is loose and uplifting. um, she said they did G together, which I never heard of it. It makes you
Wow.
feel drunk. And this was the best part when they announced the Cocoa Puffs, which
Oh
was a
yeah.
blunt laced with the Boog Shug,
Yeah.
which I was just cracking up because I like Cocoa Puffs. And I remember when Brianna was leaving the courthouse. In my head, I wanted to yell out because everybody yells out stuff, and I tried. I didn't like doing that. I thought it was disrespectful, but it was the one time I wanted to say, "Hey, are you cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?" You know, and I didn't do it. I held myself back. Now here's some talk about they would sprinkle, talking about the Cocoa Puffs. It's like Adderall with the dubs, so it keeps you awake. Now this is where
Mhm.
she mentions the dealer Ray J, who she sent to Cassie. Who that was? Everybody was like, "Is this the Ray J we're thinking of?" And that
Yeah.
still hasn't really come out. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I don't think that was like the Ray J. I don't think
Yeah,
that, he would be doing that at that time, but I mean, who knows, right?
right. It's like it's so hard to really tell. Um, let's see. And I wrote down, I don't think it's him. She told the government that she did substances every day. And I wrote at the time, Diddy is passing Post-it notes. For a lot of people who didn't know, Diddy was always passing post-it notes. I almost wanted to get like some like little, what do they call them? Binoculars to kind of see,
Yeah. Yeah.
But he was always, um, let's see, what else do I have? The clothing line had failed. Deontay texted her today. She talked to him after she got off the stand. She has spoke to Cassie, asked her how she was feeling, civil lawsuit. Cassie told her so that was part of what they were saying is that Brianna kind of filed this lawsuit after Cassie, or that's what they were trying to say is a lot of these lawsuits came after seeing that Cassie was getting a lot of money.
Yeah, and I think all of that DRUG talk and all of the Cocoa Puff and all of that stuff is really just discrediting her as a witness, right? So you have dates that are mixed up, and then you have a history of somebody doing all of these things after that date. The jury is going to look and say, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't add up. Your story could be true, but I have a lot of doubt. And Nicole Westmoreland did a fantastic job of completely discrediting her, and it was just all downhill from there, unfortunately.
Right, and I think that's the thing to kind of really point out to everybody is like, it's not it's not like the victims. I feel bad for them because the government brought them up on this trial that they almost couldn't win, and Diddy's lawyers were so much better than the government sides, and it's evident because Maureen Comey lost her job, and like you were saying earlier, a lot of that is due to losing this. Let's see. I have just some more. Um, oh, Diddy and Cassie have a conversation. She did not see you. Did they? Cassie. This is where they're talking about. Did you and Cassie have a conversation? And she said she did not see you get dangled over the balcony. Oh, sorry, miss. Let me move over. How are you doing? Yeah, there's somebody in the Diddy case in this building. Yeah, years ago. Are you familiar with the Diddy trial? What do you remember? Sorry, I have somebody here is telling me. Yeah, what do you
That's
remember?
okay.
I just remember that it was a woman.
It was a woman.
And her son came to visit her. This is what they were saying. And she got very upset and she jumped out over the building.
Oh, really? So
Backside.
in the balcony. So you're saying somebody. So say it again. So you had heard that somebody had jumped over off the balcony. A woman.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What did you hear?
Well, in the court case, they said she was dangled over the balcony by Sean Combs, Diddy, and that his ex-girlfriend used to live here, and that she was dangled from the 17th floor.
I've heard that story too.
You've heard that story too?
I've heard that story.
And what did you hear about it?
I just heard it. I heard it from my trainer who was working here at the time.
Your trainer was working here at the time, and what did they say?
She said that happened. That Diddy Combs came from this big mansion.
Diddy Combs came from his big mansion on a scooter or something like that. Okay. This is great. Keep going. I'm just repeating what you're saying. Do you?
Maureen
Can
should
I
have
show
had her
you on
testify.
camera? Look at this sweet woman right here, guys. Can you see her? Wait, where is she? Okay. So this woman, what is your name? Linda Miller is saying that her personal trainer told her Diddy came over here on a scooter. And what else did you say, Linda?
That's his girlfriend, that person I forgot.
Cassie Ventura, his girlfriend.
Lived here. And my trainer just said so there was a big scandal on the 18th floor.
A big scandal on the 17th floor. Wow, that's interesting. So thank you so much for your time, Linda. You have a beautiful day. Thank you for giving us that information because that's that's very interesting because
There we go. It was confirmed by Linda. Now we know what
confirmed by
happened.
Linda, guys. Linda, because here's the thing: if it didn't really happen, do you think that rumor would have been, would her trainer have been talking about it? Really?
His name was Ted.
His name was Ted. Okay, we're not gonna let Ted. Ted, if you're watching us, let us know. Thank you so much, Linda. You're beautiful too. I can tell you've been working out.
We got to track down Ted, yo.
I know, we got to track down. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was covering the trial, so I'm coming over here by the building to just kind of talk about it. Yeah. Well, take care. It's so great. Thank you for filling us in. So that's very interesting, Trent. Like we were saying, that
Yep.
is somebody else, a trainer who had heard about this happening. And you have to imagine when something like that happens, it's probably something that gets talked about within the building. You know what I mean? And even
Sure.
though the police were never called, of course, it's just, and I have this circled. How does the government not go over the breast bruising incident? Why not go through that with more detail? Um, and this is when he said, when they were at that photo shoot, he went up to her and he said he could unalive her. And apparently she told that to the government, but then didn't. I don't know. There was a bunch of times where they're like, why didn't this? You met with the government 8 times. Why didn't you mention this or whatnot? But
Exactly.
this is great, Trent. I think that's pretty interesting that Linda, it kind of confirmed that something did happen here, you guys. And it's important. Like, I always want to make people know, like, I support the victims and I know how traumatizing this must be for all of them and anybody who didn't come forward, because you feel like, well, how are we ever supposed to get justice if you can't get Diddy? How are they going to get my boss at work who is assaulting me?
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
it goes back
Yeah.
to what you said. It's about what you can prove inside the court.
Exactly. And I feel bad for the victims putting themselves through that, reliving that, and then it's a unanimous not guilty verdict. Like it must be hard. What a colossal waste of time and just
Yeah.
emotion having people go through that. And that's why Maureen got fired. Now, what I'm interested in is who is going to take over Maureen's spot, and are they going to be as aggressive with trying to keep Diddy in jail for the next 4 to 5 years? That's what I
Well,
really am interested in finding out
wow,
next.
that's a good point, Trent. I haven't even thought about. She won't be there at the sentencing. Like, will it?
No,
And why does
not
she take the
anymore.
full blame? Like there was like 6 other women there with her. So it's interesting how she takes all the blame for this.
Well, it's like that with anything, right? It's always the buck stops with the head. So the
Sure.
head of Diddy's team was Mark Agnifilo
Yeah, that's a
and
good
Tenny
point.
Garagos. If they lost, they would have been one who's fired. So
Right.
she heads the team. She makes the decisions. So the buck stops with her. But who is going to take over the file? Who is next? And do they just put their tail between their legs and like, you know what? I would rather this just go away, just give him his 2 years or time served, let him out and move on?
Yeah.
Or do they try to pick up where she left off, hang their hat, and try to keep Diddy in jail for as long as they can? This
Right.
is what we need to find out.
Yeah. And what do you think in terms of the sentencing? How long do you think what do you think he'll get?
I think it's really going to be determined by whoever takes over the case. But ultimately, it's up to the judge, and all the prosecution and the defense can do is make suggestions. And I
Yeah.
know everybody is saying the judge was really hard on him during bail, and they wouldn't let him out during bail because he was
Yeah.
violent, etc. But the one thing with judges, which a lot of people don't really understand, is a judge is less emotion and more there to enforce the law. They're
Yeah.
not there to be emotional. So the judge made that decision for the bail, and for bail, these 1, 2, 3 things he did not have. So that's why he denied him bail. But when it comes to sentencing, he is going to forget about the bail question. And now, okay, you're not going to be released on bail. Here is your sentencing. And because there are different prior sentences that the prosecution and the defense will be able to submit and their reasons, and also the pre-sentencing report that will be done by a social worker or a prison guard, depends who does it, he'll take all the suggestions, and it might be that he just gets out on time served. We don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I got my lady's here again. She's coming by. Did you want to add anything else? She goes, "No, I shouldn't have said anything." No, you're okay. No, nobody. Diddy's not gonna come after you. Don't worry about that. You're fine. No, we'll make sure. I promise. No, don't worry.
Don't worry.
No,
Tell
is that
Linda
your
I
dog
got
in
her. Don't
there?
worry.
Oh, okay. No, you're fine, Linda. He's behind bars. Don't worry. No, and you didn't say
Till
anything
October
that
the
we didn't
3rd.
already know about. Okay, I promise you. Have a great day, okay? You're beautiful. Hey, Trent, thank you so much for joining me.
No problem,
You
brother.
know, and let's do this again soon. I'm going to get out of here. The block is hot. And I can't wait to see you in October in New York. But
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
take care, and I will talk to you soon, man. I really appreciate your time.
All right, brother. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate y'all. Check me out, Trent Out Loud, on YouTube and all podcast platforms. Secret Service Sam, we're out.
Appreciate you, man. Take care. All right, guys.
All right,
That
brother.
is me
Peace.
live from Cassie Ventura's old apartment, Secret Service Sam, the podcast. Thank you, guys. Please make sure to subscribe on my YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, at Secret Service Sam everywhere. Love you guys. See ya.
Secret Service Sam, the podcast. It's Secret Service Sam, the podcast. It's not so secret because